All right, team. It is Thursday already. Can you believe it? That's the nice thing about short weeks. You get to the end of them very quickly. All this fear and what we would say is probably bad news is actually sending mortgage rates on a tear, which is pretty amazing. Potential float down opportunities if you followed my lock advice the last few days. There's potential float down opportunities still available for those purchasing. You're refinancing, you're just rolling the dice, but we're going to take a close look at that today. Derrick Evans here, VA Home Loan Specialist, NMLS 155010. Of course, people have been asking me, do you do other loans besides VA loans? Yes, I do. I definitely do other loans besides VA loans. We do all the loans, but I specialize in VA. And VA is a specialty product, and I really enjoy serving veterans and helping them get a good deal on their home loan. So there's that too. I'm just sharing the video really quick, and then we're going to dive into what is spooking the markets today. And why am I telling you that you had best expect to be wearing masks again by this fall? Well, the powers that be, let me just put it this way. Freedom is always under assault, always has been, and it always will be. And this is definitely nothing new. We're not going to start there today. We're going to start over here. So the first thing is, why is everything red today? I mean, everything is red today, I think, except for oil, right? We're invested in oil if you follow me. Of course we are, because that's definitely going to get there. Gold pretty much flat. Crypto getting hit a bit today. U.S. markets pretty much red across the board. VIX is up. What's the first headline? Look at this. Look at this dreary picture. Now know that when you see, this stuff that's on a news site, it is propaganda. Okay, I don't know if there is any journalistic website or publication any longer that doesn't have some sort of agenda behind it. Who funds this? Some agenda. Okay, we know who funds CNBC. That's why I like to follow, because I know who's behind it. Therefore, it tells me what they want me to know. And if I know what they want me to know, then I know what they're trying to do. That's why I like this one. So Wells Fargo tells customers it's shuttering all personal lines of credit. What does shuttering mean? You actually have to look at it. Shutting down. The bank is shutting down all existing personal lines of credit in coming weeks and no longer offers the product, according to customer letters reviewed by CNBC. It also said on this that they warned their customers this may have an impact on your credit score. But look at the picture. Look how dreary it is. Umbrella, it's dark. This guy looks like he's about to be robbed. And you're starting to see this dreary picture that's being painted. Okay? Let's look. What else is in the news? And by the way, CNBC is like a major aggregate of stories that are published amongst all the news sites, as you'll see. Oh, wait, that's Wells Fargo. Olympics will be banning spectators after Japan declares state of emergency over COVID. That's right. It ain't over. There's a variant. And so spectators now banned in Japan. Japan is a place that hasn't really had a lot of trouble with COVID in comparison to a lot of other places. Place where people eat very healthy in general. There's not an obesity issue. There's not like chronic lung issues, at least not like in the U.S. And they're saying, hey, no spectators, and this is making front page news. Now, why is that such a big deal? The reason that's such a big deal is because the Olympics, there is 7,000 hours of planned live broadcast time for the Olympics on NBC and their networks. 7,000 hours. And so, if you had seen spectators in the stands, that would have made things look normal and whatnot. You're going to see the COVID coldness of no one around, just athletes in a huge stadium, and that's like they're practicing. There's no sound from any spectators. Africa suffers worst surge in COVID cases as Delta variant spurs third wave of pandemic. Now, see, notice all this stuff coming on the same day. Okay, and this is what's spooking the financial markets, which is good for mortgage rates. We're going to get to that in a second, but this is what's happening. Africa suffers worst surge in COVID cases as Delta variant spurs third wave of pandemic. They go ahead and give you some more data there. Africa having trouble here. Okay, now this is the one that I thought was interesting. Now, this is all on the same day within minutes of each other. Okay, you draw your own conclusions on that. U.S. heading for dangerous fall. In fall, they mean fall time. Dangerous fall with surge in Delta COVID cases and return of indoor mask mandates. And that just shows you that this is something that's going to come from the top down, and it's going to be pushed hard. and expect. I'm just trying to help you manage your expectations. Expect a return. I knew that freedom is always under assault, and I knew that this would happen. And those of you who have private conversations with me know that I've been calling this, and it's gonna happen. So we're gonna have a small window of freedom, and then there's gonna be a wave of more cases, and then we're gonna be back into lockdown. And who knows the second time getting in? Will we ever get out? I don't know. So we will see. What's very interesting about this, key points. Already the dominant variant in the U.S., Delta, will hit the states with the lowest vaccination rates the hardest this fall. How do you know? How do you know that? How do you know where Delta is going to hit the hardest? Because as of right now, the states that have been the loosest with the COVID guidelines, no masks, so on and so forth, there hasn't been any correlation between that and them having more cases. So I don't know. Authorities in Australia, South Africa, and Asia have recently reintroduced curfews and other measures. So they're already after it. They don't have freedom the same way we do in the States, so it's harder to take our freedoms away, but they are after our freedoms. I guarantee you that. High vaccination rates in the U.S. and the warm summer months have brought the country some extra time, but outbreaks across the world are giving Americans a preview of what may come this fall. Wow. But what about the warm summer months everywhere else? This almost feels like a warning and not like information. It's like, how do you know? How do you know that this is what's going to come? How do you know it's going to be in the fall? I don't know. Just very, very, very bizarre to me. But either way, this is what's happening in the financial markets, and I won't go too much into my opinions on it. But here's what we have. What we have on the mortgage side, from a bond perspective, is a beautiful chart. This is basically since the Fed broke mortgage bonds on this day, we've had 15 days of really good-looking action here. Mortgage bond prices going higher, which means that interest rates are heading lower. I was definitely a pro-lock guy right here in the midst of this mess and these three moving averages. I was, again, the next day, a pro-lock guy right here, and now we're up here again, and I'm still pro-lock. Although floating can pay off if you're refinancing, listen, if you're purchasing, you got to float down opportunity after post-lock. And I actually have some people who may be able to take advantage of that here soon if we can get up to this area, this is the final frontier. This is the Alamo team. This is what I was talking about. I don't know if I did a video yesterday or not. I think I was too busy, but maybe it was the day before. This is the 200-day moving average. If we bust through this guy right here and can close above it, we're mooning. I mean, mortgage bonds will moon. There's nothing else. And so with the Fed buying and no resistance overhead, who's going to sell bonds? Who's going to sell those bonds? Traders aren't going to short them for sure. So we will moon if we can get it. Now, we still have to get through this one. We didn't get through this one. We poked through, we knocked on the door, but we closed right on it. Now, lately, we haven't had to knock on the door too many times to get through. We only knocked twice down here in this huge mess and got through there. We knocked twice again, then got through. So maybe we're going to have to bounce in here for a second, then we can go up and test the 200. But we get through that, and we're going back to the all-time lows for interest rates. So what happens if we do lock down? What happens if this glim scenario that was being painted by propaganda media today, what if that actually comes true? What if we go back into lockdown? What will that tell us? Well, last time, the last time this happened, we saw real estate surge, amidst the pandemic. Real estate was the one thing that really, really took off. And there were other things, certain businesses work really well, during that situation. Certain businesses get absolutely destroyed. And I think if you're in one of those businesses that gets absolutely destroyed, whenever we're in a low contact environment, you should really brace yourself. Try to do everything you can to protect yourself and your business and your finances heading into this fall. If you are in a business that isn't or that thrives in those scenarios, then hey, this that could work out very, very well for you. But in my position, being able to work from home very easily, not having that really be a big deal, because we're mortgage guys, we're just desk jockeys basically, and you can sit at a desk anywhere these days. it doesn't impact things that I'm doing too much. There are a lot of people, though, who might be out of work. So here's my advice. If you have been considering a refi, but you work in one of those jobs, hospitality, restaurant, etc., you may want to go ahead and do your refi before we get back in that position where you're not going to be able to do it again. If you and rates are great, so it's a good time to do it. If you're looking to purchase a home, same scenario. Now, I did do a survey, and I just shared this with all my pre-approved clients right now, which I try to get inside information and share them with my pre-approved clients on a regular basis. I just shared this with everyone. I did a survey, 20 listing agents in the last 2 days, just to get some information about, what are they seeing? What are you seeing out there? Are people still, is there still multiple bids on every property, or are people paying way above list? And the consensus was there was actually 3 price reductions amongst them, which I thought was interesting. A lot of properties selling, not a lot, but several properties selling under list. Some properties with no offers after being on the market for more than a week, which doesn't sound like news at all, unless you're used to the California, or particularly the San Diego real estate market, where you'll have multiple offers the first 24 hours. So if you go a whole week and you don't have an offer and you're showing the home, that is almost scary for listing agents. So we're seeing right now that sweet spot I've been telling you about, which I expected to be more in the second half of June, seems to be now happening more here in the first half of July, where you've got lots of people on vacation. You've got, lots of situations where, things are pulling buyers away. There's a lot of buyers or potential move-up buyers who got sick of the game, did cash out refis, put the pool in the current house and said, we're good. So they didn't buy, they refied. You've got buyers who just had fatigue and said, I can't do it anymore. I'm out of this crap. We're going to go rent for a year. So you had a lot of people sort of exit the buy space. And so now you have less buyers and you have sellers expecting to continue to see prices go up. So the cold reality is kind of hitting for them. Now, these sellers are still doing very well. They're still way up, right? So we don't need to cry for the sellers here. Not one bit. But at the same time, this is a situation where buyers can come into this market if you were felt like you were priced out by 50 grand, or, it was just too much. You couldn't do above appraised value. A lot of people you had to offer above appraised value. That doesn't seem really be the case anymore. So especially for my VA buyers out there, this is a situation where you might be able to get your offer accepted, just offering full list or even a little bit less, and you get your offer accepted and not have to do an appraisal bridge, not have to do all this cash that was happening here for the past 2-3 months. So that's a really, really good opportunity. Let's see, Evan. Oh man, we love Evan's comments. Let's see, what does Evan have to say? And I just got that blemish off my nose from the mask over the last 18 months. Yes, tremendous, my friend. Let's see. What did Robert Comstock say? What's up, Robert? I'll wait for 1% APR to refi, or wait for my Fed coin loan. Oh, the Fed coin. Will 1% interest rates happen? It could. I mean, we've got a scenario here where if you continue to see turmoil in the financial markets, this is good for bonds. It is, especially when you look around and everything's, red. Oil's up. We've talked about that. Gold pretty much flat. The other hard assets here, silver, copper, platinum, palladium, all down a tiny bit. These are all pretty much flat. If you can, and crypto's getting hit, 5% today, 10%, depending upon what you own. I really just look at Bitcoin and Ethereum. Does anyone care about XRP, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash? I don't care. I'm not going to talk about them anymore. Bitcoin, Ethereum, hey, 5%, 10%, they're down. And so, this is, people are considering, taking off risk. I mean, you see that this headline actually makes sense, take off, risk off. That's what today looked like. It was a risk off day. One of the things that you'll notice, though, about the Dow Jones, and people still give me crap for following the Dow Jones instead of the S&P. But one of the things you notice if you look at the daily, it will frequently start out ugly to begin the day, and then you'll just see it'll go up the second half. I mean, it's been doing this. I'm going to start showing this to you. It does this all the time. All the time. Constantly, it feels like. What happened to this graph here? It's bizarre. Huh. So it goes down, and then, we call it the plunger team comes in, and they just buy stuff up. So, I don't know who's doing that or what's going on there, but it is a bizarre pattern that continues to happen, and there's a lot of market manipulation going on. There always has been, but the Fed is neck deep in this thing. So my suggestion right now is to plan on there being, plan on the freedoms you have right now not being there for too much longer, maybe a few more months. The Delta variant or whatever is going on right now is hitting a lot of places really hard. In fact, even back in Missouri, we have a lot of family back there that's in the medical field, and they're got full hospitals and stuff like that. Just like it was when COVID first came out. So I do unfortunately think we're going to see some of that stuff come back. I do not think that it becomes a big problem for real estate. I think it could become a big problem for the stock market. I do think it could be potentially a problem for crypto, or it could launch crypto. It just depends on which way that goes and who's holding and what they're going to do with it. But it's really unclear what's next for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Very, very unclear. And if you look at the charts, it looks like there's a breakout that's sort of been setting up on the macro charts for some time. And, we'll just have to see which direction that's heading. I'm a long-term holder, dollar cost averager of both Bitcoin and Ethereum. So, for me, I care about what those things are worth, 10, 20 years from now. What it is today doesn't make too much difference. But a lot of people are paying attention to this, and it does matter. If Bitcoin all of a sudden was at 20,000 tomorrow, that would cause a lot of panic. That would cause a lot of capitulation, across the board for other things. People would have to sell other things to buy Bitcoin at that level, and vice versa if the opposite happens with the stock market. So we got to take a step back here and just go, all right, things have been very, very weird. People are still selling their used cars for more than what they paid for them 2 years ago as a used car purchase or a brand new car. There's just weird stuff going on, and this pandemic is not going to go away. Okay, what's going on with that and what's happening there is not going away anytime soon. And so let's continue to have good sanitary habits. Let's do the smart thing. Use this hand sanitizer. It's everywhere now. I went to the bank today for the first time in forever. I took my son to the bank at lunch today because I wanted him to see what it's like, and he likes to get out and about. And there was 2 people working in the bank. No one was at the teller stations. There was like 5 different things of hand sanitizer in there. Use the hand sanitizer. Don't, when you grab the door, don't grab the place where everyone grabs. You can see it's worn out where everyone grabs. Grab a different spot. Put your shirt, over your hand, grab it. Just do smart little things like that. Try to protect yourself. I had COVID not too long ago. It was absolute hell. And I don't know if this variant's worse. Maybe I had the variant. Who knows? All I know is it was horrible. Horrible. And I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. So be careful out there. Temper your expectations. Be smart, and know that if you're a buyer for real estate right now, this is a small window of opportunity. I think that's going to be really good. If we do go into more lockdowns, I expect the same thing to happen with real estate that happened last time. I expect the people who couldn't buy or who didn't buy, who chose not to buy, I expect them to go, all right, we've got to get out of here. If we're going to be stuck in this house that doesn't meet our needs and we don't like it, or we're not having fun here, we've got to get out and get something. I think you'll see some desperation buys, and you'll see the market run up to a crazy, crazy level. So that's it for today. I've got more to say, but I've got to get stuff done. So appreciate your time. Share this video. Hopefully this helps in some way. And if you or someone you know is looking to buy or refi, have them give me a call. That's what I do for a living. And I appreciate everyone who refers me people, who calls me to get a rate quote. Always happy to quote, help you find, make sure that you're getting the best possible deal on your home loan. What do we got here? Keith, what's up, Keith? We do take live questions here. I buy small amounts of crypto for my future grandkids. Yeah, holding off on to see how low it's going to dip. So buying small amounts is great. Don't hold off. Price is low now. So it's set up regular buys. You can do this through Coinbase if you want. I think there's other apps that allow it as well. I do it through Coinbase, and I transfer it to my private wallet. You just set up recurring buy. Set up a buy every week for $100, $50, whatever you're comfortable with. You can set up every week, every other week, once a month. They'll just automatically buy. And then that way you don't have to try to figure out, is it a good time to buy or not? You're just buying constantly and dollar cost averaging over a long period of time. And that will work out for you. Do the same thing with stocks. It's the smartest thing you can do. Fund your account. You have 50 grand. You put it in your account. You set up automatic investments. Okay, automatic investment every month of, $5,000. Now you're dollar cost averaging in over 10 months, or 2,500. Now you're dollar cost averaging in over 20 months. If you do that, you will win. That is the savvy thing to do. It's not rocket science, but it is hands off. So, that would be my suggestion. Be hands off, Keith. Great to have you here. Really appreciate the comment. All right, guys, Have a fantastic day, and I will see you all soon.